This video could probably be really short if I told you everything that we did perfectly through this massive growth phase, but honestly, I don't think that's really even possible or doable. I think that we go forward, we learn. So I am going to spill the tea and open up and share with you all the hard things that have happened in the last 3 months as we have tripled our team size. The first is probably process breakdown. We thought that we had a really good process in place, which is why we felt confident scaling up as quickly as we did. What we realized was that we had documented a portion of the process, and then we had a lot of the process that was still being held in people's brains. Mind you, this is after we spent a month writing processes, and then we got into it, we started hiring other people, and all of a sudden it was like we became aware of the pieces that we were holding in our minds and had not yet passed on. It's really common that this happens, that you think, oh, this is what I do, and then behind this task is like 3 other things that you know about it that cause you to do things slightly differently. They're nuances, they are very fine-tuned things, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if there's a way to pull all of that out until you go through the transfer process of giving it to someone else, because we literally tried. I mean, I spent 3 days in a hotel so that I would have no interruptions from kids, writing out step by step by step all of the processes that I personally have a hand in, and everyone else did the same. And then we got there and still tons of process breakdown. So what we did was we tried to write the process. We then brought people in, had them do the process. Then we saw all of the places it was going wrong. And then we went through and we pulled more information out of everyone's brains. We updated the systems again. I mean, we rebuilt our Monday.com project boards probably 2 or 3 times before we even started to settle into a rhythm that really worked and was good. So when you go to grow, if you're expecting smooth sailing, I think you're gonna be really disturbed by the choppy waters. But if you understand that the choppy waters are part of the game, I think it helps you to move through and just be more confident that you are on the right track. I like change. Like every 4 or 5 years, I think it'd be really fun to move somewhere different and experience something new. I like change. Most people don't. Entrepreneurs and business owners tend to like change. We tend to like innovation. Team members tend to like consistency, stability, and knowing that they can do a really good job at what they're doing. There has been a lot of change management over the last few months. Now, we have gone through the change management, and I'll tell you the things we did well, and I'll tell you the things that were still hard anyway. One thing that I have always believed is that the way you enroll people into change is you enroll them into your vision. So you can't just ask them to change without telling them where you're going and why you're going there, and like making sure that the vision of where you're going is in alignment with the core values that they bought into in the first place. We did all of that, and still there was tons of change management. A lot of emotions came up as we were doing hard things, as we were, my team who had been really good at their jobs for a really long time were now put in roles where they were dropping balls because there was too many balls to juggle, and we realized, oh, we need another person to do this. Or they were balancing new balls for the first time and going, I don't understand what to do with this ball, but I'm trying. And so there was a lot of emotions that came up. So I fluctuated back and forth. In the beginning, I felt like I had to manage everybody's emotions. Like I was in charge personally of all the emotions, and it was a lot of conversation and a lot of time, and I started to feel kind of beaten down from it. And then on the flip side, I was like, listen, I've already had the conversations with you. Y'all manage your own stuff. I'm gonna manage mine. And I started to move forward without addressing those things. And that caused buildup, which then caused kind of, it's like the volcano that builds and then erupts, and then now you have to clean up the damage. And so what I've been learning is to observe the emotion, and instead of making an assumption, I just ask. So I'll say things like, you seem really frustrated right now. Are you frustrated? Is there more going on? Is there something we need to address before we continue to move forward? And just those little call outs have helped me start to find the balancing point where, yes, I am responsible for keeping the culture good and keeping the team moving in the same direction. And I am responsible for resolving, like keeping big conflicts out, but I'm not the manager of everybody's emotions. Kind of a shoot off from change management has been people worrying that when a task is taken away from them, it's because they're not performing well, or they're trying to hold on to all of their tasks because they're worried that somebody else is going to come in and maybe do a better job than them and usurp their position or take away their hours or things like that. I've had to have many, many conversations about why we're moving roles away from somebody and giving them to someone else. And in the beginning, I wasn't proactive enough about it. I would kind of have this conversation and I would say, hey, we're going through a lot of growth. Your hours have increased in this area, so we're gonna be taking this away and giving it to somebody else. And in my mind, that was the whole conversation. What I didn't understand is that my team members on the other side, not all of them, but quite a few of them, what they were hearing was, I can't do a good job anymore doing everything, and now you're taking something away from me because I'm somehow falling short or disappointing you. Instead of saying, I can see that you are doing such an amazing job over here, and this job has grown too big. This is the place where you're the most valuable, where we need you, and I want all your time and energy over there, so we're gonna be reassigning some of your less important tasks. It's the same conversation, just 2 degrees different, but boy, has that made a big impact. And I have not had to have so many after the fact conversations of like, you're doing a good job, we are super grateful to have you, or your hours haven't decreased, your responsibilities have increased, and I want you to be able to have time, energy, and mental capacity for the rest of your life. So we are shifting responsibilities. I haven't had to have as many cleanup conversations now that I've shifted and being proactive with the first level of conversations, which leads perfectly into the wrong hires. So this part I'm actually really proud of. We have gone from 10 to 31 team members, and we've only hired 2 that were the wrong fit. And one of the things that I feel like we've gotten really good at over the years is finding the right people to hire. That's a pretty good success rate. So the people who were not the right fit, let's talk through what happened. In both cases, they were actually a really good fit culture-wise, but one of them just couldn't quite keep up with the same level of production as everyone else. They were slower at doing the same work, and so they were more expensive. And then the other one just wasn't getting the results that we needed them to get. And so they were both really great people. We enjoyed the experience of working with them. They were not disruptive to the culture in any way, shape, or form. They just weren't the best skills fit. Now, we have had a couple of others as well that they've taken more training than we wanted them to. And here's the key, that every single one of these, and again, I would say 3, 2 that didn't work out, 1 that has just been more work to get them up and going. All 3, we broke a rule, and the rule was we didn't do a skills assessment. And why didn't we do a skills assessment? Because we needed to hire fast. We needed to get someone in there ASAP. And so we skipped that process and we relied only on the interviews because it moves faster that way. But the skills assessment is the critical thing where you have them actually do the task that you're going to be hiring them to do. So if that's somebody in sales, you're going to be doing role plays with them. You're going to be actually having them do a sales conversation and listening into the sales conversation. If it's somebody in a production task like graphic design or landing page design, or they're building spreadsheets or managing your database, you're gonna actually have them go in and do some projects for you, and you're gonna see how those projects go. That skills assessment helps you to understand how much work it's gonna take them to get up and running, because when you're in fast growth, you don't really have time to train. What you really need is people who can hit the ground running and they can just roll with it. Maybe that, I am always an eternal optimist, so maybe that's just me being really optimistic, but I feel like we have the right people in the right places, and now we need to get the structure in place to help support them doing the most amount that they can do. Because it is unsustainable for all of your growth and all of your output to come through hiring more people. You're gonna just watch your profits get eaten away. Which leads me so perfectly into the last challenge, and this is the one that I think honestly makes most people not want to do growth. It's the payroll. I am gonna be honest, growth is expensive and growth takes time. And it's like you're gonna pay for growth in one or the other. You're either gonna pay for it in money or you're gonna pay for it in time and effort. And when you're trying to go fast with growth, it is extra expensive. And I want to grow fast right now. Sustainable, but fast. Now that we talked about all the growing pains of how to scale your team really fast, the next video that I want you to watch is why your business might be worthless and you don't even know it. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about my realization that my business actually couldn't run without me. Even though I've been doing a lot of the right things, systems, it still couldn't run without me. And I realized that nobody wants to buy a job. No matter where you're at today, I truly believe that you are 18 months to 3 years away from being able to make a multi-million-dollar exit. And so I want you to go watch that next video and we can talk about how. And feel free to binge the Watch Me Scale and Like a Boss playlist if you're interested in how to grow your team, scale quickly and efficiently. These are the two places that I think you are going to love. I'm Amy Walker. Thanks so much for being here.